There he goes again.
Yeah, baby!
My little buddy here is exceedingly excited because he just switched to Central Pacific Bank.
It's epic!
Without CPB, I wouldn't have a leg to stand on.
All the places we can go.
A class.
I feel so connected to you because I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
Are we best friends? I don't even know your name. But we might be.
Yeah.
What's your vibe?
Yeah.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
Do you know your vibe is really my question.
Ooh,
Really?
That's a good one. Hey guys, I'm Andrew. Welcome back to Uncut, the podcast where we talk to Hawaii's entrepreneurs, creatives, and change makers.
And I'm Kolby, and we're so stoked to have Irie Love as our featured guest today. Irie is a R&B and reggae singer-songwriter from Kailua, Hawaii. She has had quite the career already performing and making music for over 25 years, and has a new single out, Sugar.
Yes.
I'm so excited to catch up. It's been many years.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. It's been a journey.
It's been a journey, a transformative journey, right?
Indeed. Nice.
Incorporating that.
Yeah.
But no, thank you for being on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything, I mean, you're so fabulous. I remember meeting you like a few years ago and like just love your energy.
Thank
and
you.
what you bring to this world. And you're saying that you took a little break recently.
Yeah, so since the last time I saw you, probably in 2017, I left Hawaii again and I moved. I say again because I've graduated high school and I moved away and moved back, moved away and moved back. I think a lot of Hawaiians do that. But 2017, I moved to Portland, Oregon, and I completely took a break from music.
Oh wow.
What were you doing?
So I had this business deal that ended up being the catalyst for my divorce, and it was a music thing, a music business thing, and so I just was so traumatized being so public and going through something like that I needed to get off the island because you know Coconut Wireless is aggressive.
After you. Yep.
And I just was like, I need to come back to just me because I had become, you know, the sister, the daughter, the granddaughter, the wife, the friend, and so many lines of connection here in Hawaii that were running for so long that, you know, when we create these characters in our lives, sometimes it's like, well, who am I at the root of all of those characters? And so that was kind of the intention when I left. And so I went and I became a fitness instructor because I was an athlete when I was a kid and all through college. I'm like, this is another passion that I have that I can get into and like literally tell no one that I sing at all. And like, don't give people my Instagram, like
Really?
new year, new me.
No, like full on,
Yeah. And it was such
So
a
you became
magical.
known as like the fitness instructor, not the...
Totally.
Well,
I mean, we live in the time of social media. So of course, eventually people are like, what's your Instagram?
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
created a different one that was Irie Love Yoga. And like, I just gave people that and like tried to, to try to keep it at bay as long as I could. Just to really try to build organic relationships too, you know, because I'd become so frustrated with this idea of people having an imaginary persona that they create for you and they expect you to be that person.
Right.
And then I myself, like I said, I got lost in all of that. And I'm like, I don't know who I am. I need to go find her.
Yeah.
So yeah, long story short, I stayed away for 5 years. I moved from Portland to Seattle and then to Arizona.
Wow.
And it was just a really dark time for me because I was really sad, really broken.
And away from all of your people.
Away from all of my people, which was like good and bad, right? You know, I'm so grateful that I do have such an incredible family and Hanai family that supported me through it all. I went and lived with one of my best friends who went to UH, but she's from Portland. She's like opened her home to me. Shout out to Lisa Peterson. She is an incredible human, and let me live with her and her little family in Portland.
Is she a photographer?
No, she's an art teacher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Different Lisa.
Yeah, different
Lisa Peterson.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They might need to connect because
Yeah.
photography, art, I mean, makes sense. But yeah, so during that time, I was just a fitness instructor. So I teaching indoor cycling. I did a yoga training.
I
became
can
a
totally
yoga
picture
teacher.
that too.
Really?
I could totally.
cycle, yeah.
Yeah, I could
Do you
totally.
ride?
Yes, I'm from Peloton. Yes.
Girl, you gotta come to my class. It's starting this Sunday.
Wait, really?
Whenever you're in town.
You're still doing it?
Yeah, I'm just starting again. I just got hired at a place at Alwana.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's a
Kimie was in class
fun.
last night. I was like, I'm gonna be teaching here. And McKenna Madula comes,
same
and
one.
Mika. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's only one on Oahu or in Hawaii.
Oh,
I
really?
think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is it
So-
the one in like Ward area right
It
now?
was. We just moved to
Yeah,
Alamoana,
exactly. Yep,
new
yeah.
location.
I remember
okay.
their
Yeah,
creating
yeah.
new space.
It's Pilates and
Yep,
yoga.
yeah.
Oh my
I did
gosh.
Pilates there.
No way.
Yeah, with my wife.
Like on the reformers.
Yeah, it was like a new
You
experience.
Did?
Yeah,
Good for
it
you.
was like an event where we got invited. And
Okay.
Like, I was like, I'll try it. I was gonna sit outside and wait, and they're like, no, you should come in.
Exactly.
We did the full machine. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like,
It
mid
is,
step,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
it's
yeah,
not
so
easy.
it was a cool event.
So
'cause,
much
like,
core.
They had like the cycling and everything and whatnot.
Yeah.
Here. That's sick. You're starting again.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh,
So-
wow. Okay, look.
Wow, we don't know. Yeah.
Full
Connecting,
circle
full circle.
moments,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Did we just become best friends? I think so.
Wait, so that's so cool because a lot of people like wish they could do that, you know, but you literally went off and just like kind of did your
Dropped
own thing, like
everything.
dropped everything and
Yeah.
kind of like had a really fresh start.
Yeah.
How was that? I mean, like, you know, you were looking for yourself, finding yourself, like,
I mean, like I said, I was coming out of a divorce, so I was sad. I was kind of going through almost like I would consider like a death.
you're like mourning that part of your life.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Deep grief and mourning, and was able to make these organic connections. And I got to actually see, from an objective perspective, how much the personas really do change people's behavior. Because once they did start to find out what I did, they literally treated me differently.
Oh, crazy.
And a lot of some of the, not
I'm still
everyone.
the same girl.
Right.
Still the
So it was almost like a psychology study for me, you know, in a way to better understand others so that I can have a deeper understanding of myself.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that is deep.
Yeah, it was really transformative. But it also just like leaping to present day, I lost my father on November 30th. And, you know, I have two fathers, a biological father and then my stepfather, who is the one who just passed away. He was HPD for 25 years and he was my dad since I was 4. My sister was 2. So he's my dad too, you know.
for sure.
And so, you know, that grief though, when it came in, I was able to tap into the grief that I experienced before when I moved away from my divorce. And I had this beautiful moment of appreciation and gratitude because I was able to go through the crazy grief where I'm like, I don't know how to piece myself together again. And to now have this like gratitude that I felt such a deep love that I'm able to experience this level of grief.
Yeah.
And have more of an objective experience with the grief rather than it consuming me.
Yeah.
So it's just so interesting how life can be preparing you for things that will be heavier and more difficult if you don't just go through the hard times as they come.
Yeah. Right. And that was already, how many years ago was that? So
6 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that weird, like experiencing that 6 years later, thinking that you've like healed and we've
Right.
moved on and stuff, and it like brings you back in a way, like so
Yeah, absolutely. And it almost to a point where like this guilt came in because I was like, I should be like losing my mind right now. My dad just died. But I wasn't. It was waves. I mean, not to say that I haven't had moments of just, I mean, there was this beautiful moment I just had. I hike the pillboxes in Kailua all the time. And I was up, I go by myself. It's just like my meditation.
Yeah.
And I was up there and there was a father and this little girl who's 10 years old. And he told me, and they were hiking and she was complaining and I could hear them coming down from way up complaining, oh, my feet, that was too hard, right? And I'm just thinking, okay, ancestors, like what message can I give to this little girl and this dad as I pass them? Like I'm always calling that in.
Yeah.
And so when I go past them, he's like, I'm not kidnapping her. She's just really frustrated. Like I'm really hurt, you know. And I was just like, oh, this is so beautiful that you get to be with your dad and away from screens and out in nature. And she just kind of like, and then I said, at the top, there's like these butterflies that just hatched. So it's like this beautiful, I don't know, butterfly room almost at the point. So I'm like, when you go to the end, there's all these butterflies. He's like, see, it's going to be really worth it. And then as I continued on, I was like, man, I should have said more. And the thing that came into my head was, I wish I would have said, I wish I could have one more moment with my dad to have an adventure. You know? Like that would have shifted her mood a little, like deeply, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I just kept playing it in my head, which is something I kind of do sometimes where I'm like, you know, when you go into a situation, you're like, oh, I should have said this, even if it's good or bad. And I keep running the monologue, I would have said it like this, like that. And then what it did was it brought this lump in my throat, and then I just started bawling, crying. And I was like, wow, I really miss my dad in this
You really
moment.
wish you could have another adventure with him.
Exactly. And it was this beautiful cathartic moment where I just like let myself sob, and I'm sure people probably heard me and were like, oh my gosh, is somebody okay on the mountain? Like tourists are getting lifted out in helicopters all the time. But nobody came around. It was like just this perfect moment. And then I just looked up to the sky and I was just like, thank you, Dad. Like, thank you for loving me so deeply that I can experience this deep sadness, you know?
That's such a interesting perspective. Like you don't think about that, you know?
Yeah.
When you go through grief, like it's like, I wouldn't have had grief
if I didn't love
you so much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you learn through finding yourself. Through the first time. That's crazy.
What's that quote I hear every now and then? Like, grief is love with nowhere to go. 'Cause you can't give it to them.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just like bottles up and it's just like overwhelming and you're like,
Exactly.
I need to
It
give this love
consumes
to
you, right? Yeah.
You just gotta cry at the top of the line card.
Yeah. I'm just like, let it out is
Yeah.
my first intention.
Yeah.
And then also transmuting it and looking at the beauty of like the whole spectrum of human emotion and how we are able to feel these really beautiful, deep feelings is really a gift, I think, from my perspective.
I know this is like recent, like you just lost your dad.
Yeah.
But there's no predictable way that people will experience grief because sometimes it could be years and then
Exactly.
like something would like trigger you and then like you're like right back to that moment that you found out, or it's just like such a life is just so like weird like that, like fluid. Is just
Time isn't linear,
Yeah.
right? And that in itself reminds us of that because it can just like boom, boom. Yeah, you just never know. Which is another reason why I think it's really beautiful for children to have animals so that they can experience death, grief at an early age, and also from something that isn't necessarily so tied to their DNA. And
that day that my dog dies, I cannot.
It's going to be huge, right?
I will not be okay. We've had him since they were like, I don't think they can even remember a time that they didn't have him. So like he's about to have a birthday. He's going to be 6 this month.
Okay.
And every time we celebrate his birthday, I'm like, that's like one less year I have with you.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm like, we're getting too close to the end here. It's like, even though he's only 6, he still has some years to go. But I'm like, no, I can't think about that. They're gonna
but I mean, maybe you can think about that and just reframe it where you're like, wow, we have to make this year the best year because we're getting close to the end of the book, kind of.
Yeah.
Like really
We're at
dive
least
into
halfway.
each chapter, you know, and really appreciating every moment. And that's what it's done for me is it's just like activated that. Yeah, where I'm just like, this could be my last matcha. Man, it's good. You know? Like literally, it feels silly, but it's so real. Like I could walk out of here and literally die.
It's the best matcha you have.
Right.
I love that.
God, please let that not happen, though.
No.
So how did, I mean, I'm sure you've had this, you know, with you your whole life, but like how did like the past 6 years kind of like really build that into your life?
And change you as an artist, because now like you're coming back as who we like knew from before that, and like
we didn't even know this part of your life.
I'm sure that this person is different from that person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we can be several different versions of ourselves if we choose to. And so in my transformation or evolution, I genuinely feel like I am a different person.
Yeah.
And then finally moving back home, it's almost trippy sometimes because I'm still really close with some of my girlfriends that I've been friends with since we were like literally Hanabata days. And so, those of us who have allowed each other to evolve because they are also different. They're moms, they're wives, they're whatever, business owners, they're different versions of themselves, but still like keep in alignment with each other and allow that space to be different. So coming back, it's been so interesting because there are people who will still hold on to the old versions of you.
Yeah.
And I just find that, that's why I learned boundaries and being able to choose who I feel is my most authentic self is the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what I lost before. That was kind of like the overall encompassing lesson.
Yeah.
And if we think about time, even though it's not linear, it is cyclical. And so every 7 years, the cells in our body change and refresh, right?
So we're literally a whole new person every 7 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so in October of this year, I will be a full karmic cycle from when I had my divorce.
Oh, wow.
So for me to come back at this time, I went to Paris, recorded an album in October. I just released the first single in
January,
thank you. Just started making all these new music videos, and I have a new artistic and creative team and like things that I've never done before with my music before. To have all that launching now at the time when my karmic cycle is new, where I'm not only energetically, spiritually, emotionally a new version of myself, I'm like physically a new person of myself too. It just feels like I have like all the mana behind me to like show up as the best and biggest version of myself.
Yeah.
And intention with that is always to encourage others, which is why I think podcasts are so beautiful because we don't always get to hear everybody's story. You just like see them on whatever you see them on and you're just like, how'd they get there? Oh, I can probably never do that because we make up these stories for them. So if I can share my authentic story, then it's like, there's going to be bits and pieces that a lot of people can resonate with. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, I can get past my divorce and be a better version of myself. Or I can choose to change my personality because it's my prerogative.
Yeah.
can
Or
look
I
at
can
grief
get through this
differently,
grief.
I can look at grief differently.
I can look at anything differently. Yep.
Exactly.
I love
I
it.
choose my perspective. We each choose our perspective. And our perspective is what is creating our reality because what we believe is just thoughts that we keep on thinking. So,
I just felt your brain explode. Andrew's brain just exploded. Bombs.
No, that's amazing. And it's like, like you said, like someone's going to listen to this. It's going to resonate with them. They're probably in the same situation and you'll be like, I can do it. I'm going to shift my perspective and figure this out. Get
exactly.
past it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I got 7 years and I'll be a new person.
Period.
Every 7 years.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
beautiful. Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people want to, but then like what you did seems like very dramatic. Like we're gonna move and totally like cut ties with everybody, like start a whole new life. It sounds like a movie, like
Maybe I should make a movie.
you should.
Jason Momoa.
What character would he make you like?
I don't know.
He'll be like in your cycling class.
There you go. Will he fit on the bike?
Only one way to find out.
Exactly. Yeah, but
like people, I mean, that seems like so inspiring, but I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I could do that, but maybe somebody did it, and maybe in somebody else's own way, they cut ties, and it might not be like moving to Portland or like leaving Hawaii completely, but cut ties a way that you can.
Yeah, I think I also do like really light version of life coaching for a few people, just because of all the training and work that I did myself, and then with yoga and studying all of that, and my psychology experiment that I didn't know I was doing. I just encourage people to start with micro changes. So like literally rewiring your brain just takes for you to shift little habits. Like one of the first and easiest ones is to brush your teeth with the opposite dominant hand.
Oh.
So it's awkward and it probably takes longer.
Yeah.
But that's literally activating the neuron pathways in your brain to like wire and rewire to like create new circuits.
I'm gonna try that myself tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh,
So those
interesting.
tiny things, maybe you get out of the bed on the left side all the time.
Yeah.
See if you can like change that, or like even just changing your routine in any way. Like maybe you usually go around king on the left and you go to the right and loop around. Give yourself a little more time.
Oh, I like that. It like challenges your brain to like, okay, keep up with me. Like we're switching it up here.
Yes.
I like that.
Because we get so addicted to our routines, and not to say that
Comfortable.
yeah, routines aren't bad.
Yeah.
Routines are great, and
Yeah.
structure and discipline is great.
Yeah.
We can be high functioning in those ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, you know, if you're feeling called to have some change and to kind of learn yourself a little bit more, stepping outside of those robotic routines that are really just on autopilot allows you to be more in your conscious mind rather than just like literally running like almost a robot.
Yeah.
It's an autopilot.
Yeah.
That's so true. Oh my
crazy,
gosh.
yeah.
Even this morning, I swear this is what happened. Is like, so we know the story that Kobe forgot the audio gear in the car. Obviously, we were naked here. But like, I always like, when I go to Oahu, I drive my car down to the airport on autopilot, listen to my podcast or whatever. I like get out of the car, I grab my bag on autopilot.
Yeah.
I like pull my iPad, my ID out and give it to the TSA pre-check guy. Like sometimes I'll land and I'll be like, oh, I'm here. Like I just like, I like
Totally.
woke up all of a sudden. I'm like, wait, I did all that on autopilot.
Exactly.
And that's how I forgot the audio gear because I was just like, bag, TSA pre-check. Like,
right. Yeah, and so much of our lives are running that way, and I don't think we are really aware of it until you just like take that little time to like make that tiny adjustment. Like even just because brushing your teeth, I hope for most people is starting your day.
if not, let's make a change.
No judge, but don't talk too close, okay?
Yeah. Hey, if you don't do that, maybe make that habit.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Healthy
Dollar in
habits.
hand, right in the morning.
But you know, it's like you start your day
Yeah.
a little bit different. And so the whole thing has now shifted.
Yeah. So your brains have to kind of be on edge a little bit more.
Yeah,
Like what
you're
you gonna
just
do
more
now?
conscious of the choices that you're making.
Yeah.
I love that too because it's like, yeah, sometimes I drive home and like you said, like, oh shit, I'm home.
No,
Autopilot.
right?
So it's like nice to just like change this around
Yeah,
a little bit. And it's
yeah.
Like, I gotta think now, like, oh, where do I turn? Or,
Right, exactly.
Ah, dude, I've been like, oh, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good advice.
I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of us live our lives on autopilot.
Totally.
Even like, you know how sometimes you're like, you catch yourself scrolling and then you're like, whoa, I've been just like
I
chilling
wasn't
here.
even looking at what content it was. It's
Right,
like,
or I went to go do a text, and somehow I'm on Instagram. What?
Yeah.
Now I forgot I was texting. And then I get mad at my phone, we get in a fight, and I'm like, I'm sorry, please don't kill me in the night. I know you're a robot and you're listening to me.
I swear, sometimes I'm like, are we turning into robots or something?
I
Like,
know.
it's kind of wild.
Yeah, exactly. So re-anchoring ourselves always, because the subconscious is a massive computer that can hold everything we've ever done. All of our experiences, all our memories are in our body. So the conscious mind has to sort and only pick primary things in order for us to function in our daily lives.
Right.
Imagine if you were conscious of everything you've ever done.
Yeah.
what am I doing?
Right?
That's why we have anxiety medication.
Exactly. So it can also give us grace too for people who are suffering from any sort of mental disorder. It's like, just think about it. Like a lot of those people do have like more access to the full.
Yeah.
And that's a lot.
Can you imagine, like, our ancestors, just like a couple generations ago, was like very simple life.
Totally.
Like, they went to work in their lo'i or wherever they went to work and,
Right.
like, did their thing. They, like,
Raised a family, did their thing.
Yeah, super
now,
chill. Lots of
Every
chill
day,
time.
every day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
We're just on the go.
so much information we're consuming.
So much information.
Just, like, so much
so
to do,
easily
like,
available. Yeah,
convenience,
convenient.
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that we become more robotic. So it's good to anchor into. That's why I like to do physical things like
Yeah.
hiking, being in nature,
body. Yeah.
cycling, yoga. It just like
Yeah.
it gets us more in our physicality so that we can be more present and anchor into just like being.
That's true.
I'm
I
a
swear I
human
have,
being.
like, my best ideas on the bike. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Somebody write it down.
yeah, it's like the only time I can like be creative. It almost
Yeah.
feels like because when I'm at the
Exactly.
computer, I'm like writer's block. Like I don't know what I'm doing. But when I'm like moving, it's like when all the creativity comes.
Oh, totally.
All the ideas.
Yep.
What kind of podcast are we doing right
I
now?
don't even know.
That's crazy because when I did cycling, I did not have that experience. I was like, oh my god, I got to pedal. I got to stand up now. Like, whoa, like, I was like, oh shit.
It's a lot.
I did it to change up my routine though.
There you
go. We were going to hit class. I was like, oh, let's try cycling.
Yeah.
I did it. I was like, oh shit, this is hard.
Right? I know you guys gotta come to my class then.
Oh,
It'd be fun.
Now
Sit in the back.
Sit in the back, Andrew.
Yeah.
Sit in the back. I
But I
don't
was
call people
dying.
out. Yeah.
People were like going hard. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm dying right now. I'm like on the bike, like, okay, I'm gonna just slow pedal a little bit.
No, it's intense.
But she would call you out, and I was like, oh.
Oh no, I don't like that. I don't like that. I won't do that. My class is a
Okay,
safe space because I'm also a yoga teacher.
Yeah, we'll come through. Okay.
I got you.
Next podcast will be on the bike.
Can you?
Yeah.
We need to do that.
And we'll just talk to the person next to us. Or in the middle.
Oh my god. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to talk.
No. But yeah, so now I'm doing music again.
Yeah.
Okay. So what brought you back?
So a few people in my life that would not lose that thread for me, that held the thread for me. Because I was like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm not.
Oh, you thought you
Doing
were
that.
I'm not coming back.
Yeah. I'm like, that part of me is over.
Why were you feeling that way? Like, was it just because of like the break?
Yeah,
up and,
because I had integrated my relationship into my business. And it's a very difficult, let me not say difficult, it's very challenging to be in a romantic relationship as a musician or artist.
Yeah.
Just the lifestyle in itself, regardless of my character, is really taxing on like that type of bond, right? So I knew that and I tried my best to manage that, but I was also so lost in all the characters that I was playing, and he moved into my world. I met him in London. So he was totally consumed in my world, my friends, my family, my Ina, my career. And so I think anyone would kind of feel insecure or feel like they're losing themselves.
Yeah, totally.
I realized it has to be like a shared space, if you will, where you both have things that make you feel anchored and grounded to who you are as individuals, even when you're in a relationship. And so now I have that perspective, but at the time I was just like, I'm doing everything I can. I don't know what else to do. And so it kind of slowly made me hate my career because it was destroying my relationship.
You were kind of like
I
pairing
see.
that feeling with
with
your
and it just
career.
like twisted me and tore me apart, where I was just like, now I lost my partner and my music. So I was just kind of like, F everything.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And what else am I passionate about? And being an athlete. So that's why I completely stopped, and I was just like, no, I'm really done.
Yeah.
And for me, people that know me, something you know about me is I am really assertive and firm on my decisions and what I believe, which now I understand is just a thought I keep thinking, so you can change that.
Yeah.
So I knew I've always never wanted to have children, and that's a huge choice to make in Hawaii, as we know.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of heat for that my whole life. But I always knew that. And so when I said I wasn't going to do music anymore, they were like, uh-oh. Like, she's pretty serious when she says she's not going to do something. Yeah. So, long story short, a few friends just would always be like, I know you don't, but here's that song, or your song was on the radio, or just like reminding me of like, or I'd get like messages from random people in DMs, which I think social media is so beautiful for. Yeah, like your song did this for me, or, I love your music and I hope you're still singing, and just little angel messages, I call them, right? And so I joined like this singer-songwriter group in Seattle and started to kind of get back into singing. And it was very different. There wasn't reggae at all. It was just like a piano, and we'd have like soup and song at this guy's house, and it's like all these creators would come and share their stories and their songs, and we'd jam. And so it kind of reminded me of like Kanakapila days and stuff. But
Soup and song.
yeah, soup and song. Cute. It's so cute. I want to do that here, but maybe not soup because it's hot. Smoothie and song.
Smoothie and song.
No, but then our voices
Shave
are
ice
cold.
and song. Oh yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so I kind of was dipping my toe back in the pool a little bit, but
How did that make you feel?
I was scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it brought up a lot of fear for me, for sure.
Because I'm sure, because again, like those feelings, that connection to what music, I guess your career did,
Yeah.
to your relationship.
Yeah, I definitely had a trauma response. But I was so deep in my inner work at that point that I was like, actually, I had already shifted my perspective about trauma responses where I'm like, ooh, this is an opportunity for me to like go to another level because I'm facing something that had been controlling me subconsciously.
Yeah.
So it's right here.
So
Do
you're
you want to
taking
keep it
control now, yeah.
or do you want to move through it and integrate it? So now it's my power.
Hey.
Oh, that is giving me chicken
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Another big choice. Like you could have chosen to like, nah, I'll just stay away just to be safe. You know, like
Right.
we don't want to go there again.
Yeah. And it's so interesting that it happened in Seattle because from my experience and perspective, Seattle's one of the most scared places in America.
Scared?
They are fearful people there, just
Really?
of everything. Super sensitive, super fearful. And this is a total generalization. Obviously, not everybody in Seattle is this way, but it is kind of a part of the culture there.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was so funny to me internally that I'm like, wow, I'm like going into the depths of my own fears around these people who are like, oh my gosh, please. And if you could just, and I just don't like, and if you could maybe, and if you could respect me because I'm just, and it's just, and I don't know, and I don't like, and I'm like, no, that's cool. I'll be strong in the privacy of my own apartment. Honoring space for you.
So funny.
Yeah. So
I know now that you say it, I'm like,
Yeah. Totally.
yeah.
So, and everybody has their own, I think, experience that they called in to have in this life. And then we choose, like the micro decisions is what navigates that. So I've just chosen that, like, I want to be the most powerful version of my DNA and my lineage and my ancestor that has ever been.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
You're
so, like,
putting that out there.
Yeah.
That's
What
a
does that
choice.
take?
Yeah. What does
That's
that look like?
how I make all of my decisions moving forward.
That's cool.
Sick.
Yeah. And it makes me also feel like I'm part of a team rather than just me doing it alone. Like so many people laid so many foundations and went through so much for me to exist. Like, how could I not show up and be the best? Because like you were saying, we have access to everything now.
Yeah.
Like nothing is impossible.
Yeah.
It's like what you do with those resources.
Right.
But actually, too, it's like I was just having this talk with my crew about mo'okuauhau and like how actually, you know, like back in the day or like even with the ali'i, they would have somebody on their staff that would just recite their mo'okuauhau because like it was that important. And so if you're talking about like your lineage, your ancestors, it's not even about just like remembering and honoring, which really is important. But the reason why they would chant it is because when you say their names out loud, it activates them. So it's like it activates their spirit, their mana, their essence of who they are becomes a part of you.
Yes.
So that's why you actually say their name.
Yes.
And so it's not even like, all the your lineage, your ancestors are behind you, but actually with you. Too.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that because it's a beautiful reminder of just how powerful words are, right? And I mean, being a singer, I've always had a pretty open throat chakra, as you would say, where I'm not afraid to use my voice, but there's different ways that we can use our voice, and words are spells. So we are casting energies with different frequencies and intonations, which is why language was created, because language is actually activating different frequencies depending on the dictation and the way and the, I mean, you think about, I just spent time in Paris, everybody's, it's like one continuous word, it just never stop. They, even when they're pausing, they're like, and I'm just like, whoa. I'm seeing everything in music, right? So I'm like, that melody is just one continuous melody.
Yeah.
And then in Hawaiian, it's like very, so it's like calling different types of frequencies that to me feel in my body like super powerful. You know, just the way that Hawaiian language is spoken. So
that's
it's like
interesting, yeah.
everything is calling in frequencies. So yes, of course, to say someone's name would call in their frequency into the space.
And also be careful of like whose name you
Yeah,
say
yeah,
or
yeah,
what you're saying, because
Exactly.
certain words, even if you don't even maybe know the meaning, it like has a feeling. It's
Yes.
like, ooh, that
Right.
didn't sound right, or
Yeah.
that sounds, or like moist. Like, you know, certain words feel like trigger words. Moist. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
I was like, what are you thinking about, Chloe?
You know, the word moist, like it just like gives you a feeling like moist.
Right. Or like ick, you know,
Yeah.
like things that just like they give you a feeling.
Yeah.
Right. So that in
Yeah.
itself proves that point. And
Yeah.
that's something I also try to encourage folks to do with the English language, because English is very much designed as spells, and there's a lot of hidden occult frequencies in them. So for instance, like simple words that we use all the time, like morning. Morning is the same frequency as morning. So I mourned my father, but this is the beginning of our day. So it's actually setting us up to expect things to go wrong.
Oh, I never thought
say-
about that.
And it's like counterintuitive because it's like good morning.
Right.
Oh, I never.
So that's what makes it
that.
occult, which is
Yeah.
occult just means hidden.
Yeah.
So it hides the true meaning, and then they get us to be programmed to like basically cast the spell on our lives every single day with these words that we exchange. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good, right? We
Yeah.
say it back and forth.
Yeah.
So I say, I mean, there's been like jokes about like things to try to people replace it. It's like grand rising is a thing.
Okay, yeah.
I just like, I say
Aloha
good rising.
kakariaka.
We say that, but then, you know, some folks are like, because not everybody is a little Hawai'i, but learning and sharing, right? I use that all the time. Or just a simple aloha. I mean, here we have such a
Yeah.
beautiful word that has such magical frequencies that can be used in so many ways. Like start my day with aloha, end my day with aloha,
Yeah.
aloha, aloha, aloha. Like,
Yeah.
So just encouraging people to think about that, because there's a lot of words. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on that.
Yeah.
But
That is
Yeah,
so
that's- yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Sneaky English.
right. So that's why in my new music, I'm super intentional with the words that I was choosing, where I've never really done that before.
Yeah.
But again, I'm a totally different version of myself. So everything that I do is going to be very different than it was before. Sugar is about self-love. It sounds like it could just be a love song to anyone. But it was really about, my sister wrote it. Shout out to Tiana Shai, my sister. She lives in Vegas now, but she's been there forever. She's a songwriter and a producer,
Oh my
owns her
gosh,
own
your actual
studio.
sister?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Some music runs in the family.
Yeah, so she surprised me when she flew home for Dad's paddle out. I did a show at the Blue Note, and she wrote the song, and so I'm like on stage. She's supposed to come a few days later for the funeral, and I'm on stage bragging about my sister.
She comes out.
Surprise
She
you.
flew in early, like totally surprised.
Oh my god.
So I like got out of like holding my stage presence to like, oh my god, my sister's here. But it was so cute
Yeah,
and
what a beautiful
magical,
moment,
and like
yeah.
in a time when we're both like mourning our father, to like have that special moment to share together. It's just been really, really beautiful. And we were able to tell our dad just before he passed, because he had cancer. So we were able to all go say goodbye and have time and share with him that we were finally making music together as sisters.
Oh my god.
Which was always his
what a
dream.
gift.
So it was really magical to do that. But so just the music in itself is just, it's a full album that's telling the tale of like how I became who I am today.
Wow.
And Sugar being the first song, it's the most like island reggae sounding of the whole album. The whole album is reggae. But that song to me was just like perfect, because in Hawai'i we love our Hawaiian jam reggae love songs,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So it was like a classic song for that. But the true meaning of it for me was about when I finally, after my divorce, really fell in love with myself. And I didn't really understand. I heard people say that before, but I was like, what does that mean? I love myself, self-love. Like, oh, cute. But I like really felt it, where I'm like, no, I genuinely love myself because I've created those micro decisions and shifted who I am.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a real thing. Self-love is a real thing. It's not just a hashtag.
Yeah. What is self-love? Hashtag self-love. What does that mean when you're talking about self-love? Like, what does that actually mean? So you like went through something hard, really, really difficult, and discovered this along the way. So was that like trusting yourself? Was that like confidence? Was that like believing in yourself?
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that activates my inner confidence is discipline. And so when we're practicing discipline, we're basically choosing ourselves. And so even just with like changing the way that I was eating, like I became a vegetarian, I quit drinking alcohol, like all these things that are just such a big part of our culture here. That I just felt like weren't ever working with my body. And so just making choices that I knew would be beneficial to me as an individual, and then putting that into practice until it became a routine and ritual, and just starting to feel really good. Like I'm really showing up for myself every single day. Like being your own best friend almost in a way, where I'm like, I'm gonna be there for you, I'm gonna have your back, I'm gonna show up for you, I'm going to choose to do things that are good for you, that are going to make you feel good. And I'm going to do that every single day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that to me is kind of what laid the foundation for self-love. Because I even like just body image, like when I was in high school, I was modeling and I had bulimia. I didn't have bulimia. I became bulimic, trying to just lose weight for different fashion shows and stuff. And my mom figured it out and cut that out. But they created this body dysmorphia where I just have this constant inner critique that was just like living in my head.
Yeah.
And my weight would fluctuate all the time drastically. And even though I'm 6 feet tall, and so my weight fluctuating for someone on the outside would be like, oh my gosh, girl, you like mine. But it's like my clothes would be uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable in my body.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew that the choices I were making were not serving me.
Yeah.
And so it was like that choice, because the discipline really comes when you don't have any cheerleaders and nobody is in that decision with you.
Yeah.
It's for you, by you.
Yeah.
You have to keep yourself accountable.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just builds a different kind of strength inside where I'm like,
It's like once you make that commitment to be
Yeah.
better for yourself and
Yeah.
no one
When
else.
nobody else is watching.
right,
Yeah.
it's just for me.
Yeah.
And then of course people are like, wow, what are you doing? Because you
Yeah.
start to like almost glow.
I would say you're definitely glowing. When I saw you, I was like, wow, you are glowing. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I
What's your
just put oil
skincare?
on my face from France.
Give me your skincare. Oh, that's
But,
awesome.
yeah.
So are you still sober? Are you not drinking?
Yeah, I'm done.
Wow.
I just have no desire anymore.
Once you made that decision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can be around it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm still been staying at Auntie's house for like, I don't know, 4 months now. And
Yeah.
all the aunties come over and drink their beers every night. And I cruise at the table with them. And it's like, it doesn't bother me, but it's just my choice. The only time it would make it uncomfortable is if somebody was like pressuring me on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
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 But luckily, I've designed my life now and created boundaries now where I don't have those type of connections or people in my life. Everyone just allows me to have my vegetarian meal while they're having their beef stew, and they drink their Coors Light and I drink my sparkling water. It's like we're still here enjoying each other's company, and I can make these decisions and maybe inspire someone who was kind of thinking already that they want to shift something in their life and show them that it's possible,
totally.
and you don't have to like think you can't be around people anymore. Because I think that's the biggest factor. Like when I change my life, does that mean all my friends have to change? And
Yeah.
I can't be around my family in
That's
the
a
same
real
way?
concern and worry, I think. You
Totally.
know, it's like, well, but my best friends, they all like to like get drunk on the weekends.
Right.
And, like, am I not going to be a part of that friend group anymore?
Yeah, and I mean, not to say that it won't change.
Yeah.
Like I definitely don't get invited to those types of things anymore because people have just seen that like they invite me and I didn't show up. I didn't show up.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
stop inviting.
Yeah.
And I think at first in that moment I'm like, oh, why are they not inviting me anymore?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, because I'm choosing myself, because
Yeah.
I have different discipline. It's not because they don't like me.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
I would be a Debbie Downer for their like raging night.
Yeah.
I get it.
Perspective shift.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not rejection, it's
Yeah.
actually protection.
Yeah. Hey.
Wow.
Hey.
I mean, I stole that from the internet. But it's real, you know?
Yeah.
And it's actually, too, allowed me to have a lot of new people come into my life
Yes.
that are on the same frequency, which is really dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Sometimes, like, you know, when you least expect it, it's like those opportunities or those relationships come and you're like, hey, this is awesome. You know, how do I grow on this? How do I build it? And
Yeah.
Like with a lot of things, I feel like that's so relatable because I think a lot of times we hold on to something so much because we're afraid of like what's going to happen when when we let that go. Even if we know maybe it might not be like the best thing for us, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a whatever it is. Well, then on the other side, you can't always see like what's on the other side.
Yeah.
Like what if you let go of that, it makes room for something else, and maybe it's a better something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, from my experience, it's never not been something better.
I'm starting to learn that now too. It's like, you know, as you get older, it's like, you know, your time is valuable. So like these relationships and the things you're involved with, the things you're passionate about, it's like you kind of have to be very intentional.
Right.
Yeah. And like once you cut something out, it's gonna again open the door for other relationships. So
Yeah. Opportunities or like you just never know.
Yeah.
And when you can lean into that as like magic rather than like a scary dark place, and again shifting your perspective, right? Because a lot of times a great way, an example that I can use is people always ask me, because I've been singing so long, if I get stage fright still. Because I have like a friend of mine who's creating content for me, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'd be so nervous right now, because we did a whole press tour and did like all the news stations, all the radio stations. And she's like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm sweating. Are we right? And I'm like, girl, you can be even more nervous than me.
you're making me nervous.
Right. So I just was like, no, I don't get nervous anymore, because not because I'm not like,
You don't
oh,
care.
yeah, not because I don't care. I just have shifted my perspective where I'm just like, if I feel nervousness, to me, it's excitement. And I'm like, ooh, this is fun.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh no, am I going to do everything right? Am I wearing the right thing? Am I saying the right thing?
Yeah.
Just like, I am who I am. I showed up, and now let's see what kind of magic is on the other side.
Have fun. Yeah,
I
love
love
that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that approach. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can use that in anything in life. It doesn't have to be on the news with your friend.
Yeah.
Just anywhere. Like
Yeah.
when you feel that the bubbling or the sweating or any kind of nervousness, even for children, I try to encourage them, like, that nervousness is actually like your gears are starting and you're about to have all this excitement bubbling up and all your magic is going to come out.
Oh, I love that.
And you're like, oh, cool, yeah. Like, I feel my magic.
Yeah.
So cute.
That's so
All my nieces and nephews, they're so
That's
cute.
so.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember that.
Let me just put that in my bank.
I know.
real quick.
Yeah. Lock that one in.
Yeah. Getting ready for the magic to happen.
Yeah, so I have no idea how people are going to receive this album, but I did it for me.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you're familiar with Rick Rubin, but he's been like a producer for everyone's in music since the dawn of time. And he's very prolific and wrote this amazing book that just came out called The Creative Act. And it's just so inspiring to anyone, not just, music people, of how to just lean into your art, whatever that is, whatever you create in your life, and be doing something because you love it. And then whoever's supposed to love it with you will love it with you. And your only obligation is to share. And so that's kind of my approach with this new album. It's just, we have to release singles and then the album will come out in late summer. And I might have a music video for each one. But for me, it's exciting because I'm just like, ooh, look at this fun thing. Remember back in the day?
Yeah.
Show and tell.
Show and tell. Yeah.
Look what I got.
Yeah.
Like we still have that inner child within
100%,
us,
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm like leaning into that where I'm just like, look what I made in Paris. This is so cool. Like,
So awesome. But then it's like your most authentic self. Like
Totally.
you're the
Yeah.
most you album that you've ever made. And if people don't like it, it wasn't meant for them. But
Exactly.
it's like it's gonna find its way to the people that you're meant to make it for.
right.
So that's
And
so
not
cool.
that I don't care about what people think, because I'm
Yeah.
not going to just sit here and be like, I'm so changed. I don't. I literally don't even care. No, of course, I'm human. Like,
Yeah.
I want people to love what I made with me, you know? That's the greatest affirmation as humans, is when we love things together. That's how we build friendships. It's like, oh, you like baseball? Oh, me too. Okay, now we're best friends. We talk about baseball all the time.
Yeah.
Like we love to love things together.
Yeah.
So I would love for massive amounts of people to love my music.
People are going to. That's like not even
Thank you,
guaranteed.
sister. Thank you for casting that spell for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just also have to anchor myself in the idea that no matter what happens, I love this music. I'm proud of what I did, and I'm going to continue to create more because now my magic is reactivated.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We missed you.
Exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Oh, so what kind of timeline are we looking at?
So the next single comes out April 26th. We originally had it on March something, but Beyonce's album is coming out.
Oh, yeah. Just planning. Yeah. Just strategic stuff now.
The industry moves around Beyonce, right? For now. So April 26th, I started shooting the first scene for the music video this past weekend, which is why I have the buns.
I love it, yes.
And I'm trying to hold on to them, but my sister's like, they're getting frizzy, take them off. But I feel like a warrior.
It's very cute.
You know? They'll probably come out tonight. But, and then it's like every 6 weeks, a single will come out.
Okay. And so
then-
the album drops in summer.
In August.
Oh, okay, sick.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I wrote a book as well.
Did you really?
Over this time.
Sick. I was gonna ask you. You wrote
Really?
the journey. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you said it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's also a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe the book becomes a movie.
The book becomes a
Exactly.
movie, yes.
That happens all the time. Yeah.
So yeah, the book is pretty much done, but of course, as I continue to live life, I have more things to share. So it's basically about my life, but what I did was like the stories and then the lessons learned.
That's
love
always
it.
so powerful.
So that should come out probably next year because I have to
Okay.
get like a proper editor and all that
Yeah.
things. But
Wow.
That's
Look at
amazing.
you.
See, like that's another form of like sharing your story that's
Yeah.
gonna help like spread the message and even like more
Totally.
people, you know?
yeah, everyone consumes information now in so many different ways.
Different
Yeah.
ways, exactly.
So maybe you don't listen to podcasts, but you'll, listen to, read a book
yeah.
or whatever.
It's an audio
But what's
book
cool is
today.
it's also like very connected in a sense where they're gonna hear it here or somewhere and then like read the book or like read the book and then look for your music and then like it just all
Yes,
connects.
they're gonna
right?
hear the podcast. They're gonna
Yeah.
be putting an alarm, waiting for the album to come out. Then they're gonna buy the book.
Yeah.
Right. And then you come to a show
And
or
you
a
come to
class
a
and you're
class,
like,
yeah.
I feel so connected to you because I feel like I
think
know you.
Yeah.
Are we best friends? I don't even know your name. But we might be.
Yeah.
What's your vibe?
Yeah.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
Do you know your vibe is really my question.
Ooh,
Really?
that's a good one.
Right? Because
Yeah.
if I'm in my authentic frequency, then
Yeah.
I'm going to be attracted to people that are in that same
Yes.
space. If I feel like someone doesn't know themselves, I'm like,
Yeah.
liability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
Oh,
Circle back.
A lot of people, because there's always like, oh, good vibes only, but it's like, no, what's your vibe?
Right.
yeah.
Right.
That's a little too general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do. Oh
What's
my gosh, my yoga teacher was so anti good vibes only.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's literally the worst phrase ever. I'm like, it kind of is. Because it's like, what is that? Sweeping all your problems under the rug,
Yeah.
or show up fake, or like these
yeah.
are not things that are gonna like have good
Everybody's
outcome.
going through something different, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
It might not always be good vibes.
Authentic vibes only.
Authentic vibes.
Authentic, but we're starting a new one.
Shit, we're starting a new one.
Authentic vibes only.
Authentic vibes only.
Period.
Yeah. New merch. Let's get it out. Yeah.
You see me with the shirt. Oh, she did it.
She actually didn't.
We'll do uncut Irie Love collab. Authentic
let's
vibes
do
only.
it.
Yes, let's do it.
All right,
literally.
putting it out to the universe.
Order
just starting
spells.
to-
It happens.
Yeah.
It's done.
It's
Throw
done.
on sale.
Yeah.
They're on sale.
Get yours now.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
Oh, I love it. So, do you have any shows coming up that you have planned?
Not in Hawaii.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing some shows on the continent and then in Europe. So,
Sick.
yeah.
Maybe
What brought
when
you all the way out to Paris from Seattle?
Yeah, so shout out to Matthew Boast of Boast and Bim. He produced I don't know if you're familiar, but Skankin' Sweet for Chronics. And he produced my song Let It Fly with rest in peace Peter Morgan. And then he produced my song In Another Life with this guy Niall Banks from Jamaica. Shout out to Niles. And what happened was that song, basically I recorded it. I don't even we still can't figure out where I recorded it.
Oh, you're still trying to figure it out?
Like, because I recorded it years ago.
Yeah.
When he sent it to me from France, and I recorded it somewhere when I was on my break of not doing music anymore. And then I sent him back the files, and then he was like, I'm going to find someone to feature. And then I was just like, ugh, I'm not doing music anymore. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Long story short, he finds someone, Niall Banks, that does a dope-ass Jamaican verse. We put it out, and my manager basically got it on a playlist, and it went to like 2 million streams in a few months.
Wow.
So he was like, okay, your formula with this producer is really dialed. What if, because I was still like, nothing is going to work. I don't have producers. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I want to do music. And he was like, what if I sent you to France and you stayed there and made a whole album? And I've never done that. My first album was like songs I recorded on tour and I put them together.
Yeah.
So it's more of a compilation technically.
Yeah.
A body of work is like you sit down with a team and you make a whole thing of music.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to turn down a trip to Paris. I don't even speak French, but I'll figure it out. I know croissant. That's all you got to know. And s'il vous plaît. But yeah, so he sent me there by myself, and I've traveled my whole life. My grandma was a travel agent, so I've been traveling since I was 5. And so I'm not afraid to go and stay in foreign countries by myself. But yeah, Matthew, we had never met in person. It has all been over the interwebs. And so I didn't even know what he looked like. So I'm like, I'm more obvious. Can you just find me in the train station?
Matthew?
Right. All these little French guys, I don't know. Are you Matthew? Are you Matthew? Oh. Yeah. Shout out to all my Frenchies out there. No, my best friend's husband, Guillaume, is going to kill me. He lives in Kailua. He hates my fake French. But yeah, so we had some success, and my manager was like, you already have success. Maybe you can.
Like chemistry.
Yeah, chemistry.
Yeah.
And it was exactly that. He was incredible. He showed me around France. He hooked me up with this girl, Sarah Lugo, who I had met on tour like 10 years ago and forgot. And she was like, I met you once, and she became like my French best friend. She spoke perfect English. She took me everywhere in between studio sessions.
Oh my gosh. It
was
sounds
just-
very like Emily in Paris like.
Totally. It was so magical.
Oh my-
And we made like 15 songs from scratch. And
It's so cool because you literally took your you stepped out of your comfort zone like completely, flew all the way to Europe, and like you like really like embraced it and like soaked it all in and like lived it, you know?
Yeah.
It's not
How
like you
long-
were recording a little bit, sending it. And
right.
How long were you there for?
A little over a month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and I would like walk. I took the train everywhere, and
Yeah.
I didn't do any touristy things. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
being Hawaiian, you know, we are kind of anti
yeah,
that
yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
We want to be like connecting
Soak in the culture.
and like almost pretending I was French. Like no, because they speak like that sometimes without words.
With their lips. Yeah.
Words.
I have whole conversations on the trains with women who I'm sure didn't speak.
No words.
Yeah, she's like. And then
We'll
I'm like,
add subtitles for that.
yeah.
somehow,
And then I get off the train like, oh wow, like we were friends.
Like, oh, we just connected.
Yeah, exactly.
Going to whatever work. And
Right.
She's gonna go home to her family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so beautiful how much communication we can have as humans
is
without
hilarious.
words, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a magical time, and to create the music there and to have my first body of work after, you know, it's been 25 years since I started singing professionally. So
Wow.
it's been a journey, and now I feel like it's so crazy too to be about to be 42 and feel like I'm just starting my life.
Yeah.
We can live so many lives within
Yeah.
our one short life. And so encouraging people too to just like, when you feel inspired, follow that. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. It doesn't matter what roles you play. Like if you're a mom and you feel like you have an idea for this business, then just like start it. It doesn't have to have a whole business plan and and what's your ROI. It's like if you feel an inspiration, that's like a little fairy dust from the universe being like, this could be really fun for you.
Yeah.
And not thinking about, is it going to make money? Is it going to be a waste of time? Am I going to be good at it? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just do it. And that's the creator in all of us.
Yeah. That little like whisper is there for a reason.
Yeah.
And then sometimes if you don't listen to it, then it becomes a shout or it's like a tragic loss. That
Right.
you know, yeah.
Right. Because there's nothing, I think, more devastating for a human than to have regret.
Yes.
Failure, we get over it. We move through it. We move
You
past
learn from
it.
it,
But
Can't do anything with regret.
oh wow, we can't go backwards.
Yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Because, everybody goes through different eras in their lives. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, just have to embrace it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you retire and you have like a totally different.
Yeah, exactly. Career or something.
Yeah,
you do.
Kailua, our mutual friend, we just found out. Her grandpa has such a beautiful story where he didn't start painting until he was 55.
Oh, wow.
Like never
wow.
painted. and then created, I mean, masterpieces. And he has like a whole gallery, like now a full storage units full of these incredible, huge paintings. And so it's like that spark was always in him.
Yeah.
It's just, it didn't ignite until 55.
Funny, yeah.
Wow.
And if he didn't do that, I mean, he's no longer here physically. So now they have all this art that connects them to their grandpa that he left behind for them. Like,
That's crazy.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Legacy. You know, you never know when your legacy is going to be laid out. It could be in the very last moment. So just continue to follow that inspiration whenever it comes up.
Yeah.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow
If you're
that
still
spark.
here,
Yeah.
you still got time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can still do it. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
You love that. Is there anything we always like to if there's anybody, watching who's aspiring to be a
Someone maybe aspiring for change. Like what would you
transformation?
Yeah. I think just what we talked about a lot, which is, making the micro adjustments and just looking at what you can do that's right in front of you. Because, like I said, our brains are like computers, and we can shift and change the software and download new things and erase things if we want to. But if we try to think about changing your life, then that just seems massive, right? So make it really, really small.
Yeah.
And just be like, I'm going to brush my teeth with my left hand for a week. Even if I have to put a sticky note on my mirror and be like, left hand, to remind you, because you will sometimes try to, and then also
but making that commitment to do it.
and you'll start to notice too, you're like, oh my gosh, I was almost going to do it. Like how much I'm on autopilot.
Yeah.
And then it just opens up a whole world of these little decisions that you can make where you're starting to basically build the recipe for a new version of yourself.
That's crazy. I love that.
Yeah.
My mind has been blown this whole time.
I know,
My
right?
jaw is
It's
still
feeling
like
going off.
Yeah.
His brain keeps blowing up.
It's a lot of downloads.
Yeah.
I'm still
that's-
downloading.
I know. We're just gonna, after you leave, we're just gonna sit here.
wheel is
Yeah.
We're gonna sit here for a while
Yeah.
and process all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All
Thank
right.
you for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
It
I
was
love
an honor
this,
to have
this
you.
chapter and era of your life.
It's so
this transformation
beautiful.
era.
Yes.
It's so beautiful. It's like you've gone through the transformation and now it's like your glow era. Or I
Yeah.
don't know, what do you call this? Like,
I know, right? I don't know.
you
Help
come
me.
up with a word.
Hey,
Yeah.
you dropped so
Magic
much
era.
insight today.
It's
Yeah,
just
magic,
like your magic
magic's
era.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to see how this year unfolds for you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm excited to see all the music videos, the
Yeah.
songs come out. It's gonna be sick.
I'm so
I
excited.
know it's looking good. I saw you tease something, or did one of the Sugar music video came out, or did it?
No. I teased it, and then I teased
teased
the first scene for the next video that we've
Okay.
already started for the song that's not even out yet.
Okay.
Which is called "To Be Free," and I had my nephew actually made the dress that I wore in the video, and
No
he's an
way.
aspiring photographer as well.
Sick.
He's an incredible artist. My Hanai nephew. Yeah.
Wow.
I show him something on Instagram, and he just makes it.
Oh wow.
What?
I know. It's crazy.
Wow.
He's crazy talented. So I invited him to come to the shoot. I'm like, you got to come see your dress live and
Yeah,
direct.
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
now
Yeah.
it's going to be, in a music video forever, which is so cool. It's a crochet kind of dress.
Wow.
Oh,
You know, like
sick.
all those crochet artists on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Uh-huh.
I was like, can you make this? He's like, no, I can figure it out. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How did you
Wow.
do that? He's 17.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to Chanson. We're trying to build his brand for him because
Yeah.
he's just like,
That's incredible. 17.
Such
he
an
can make
amazing
a
artist.
crochet dress.
Yeah.
Just
like that.
Figure it
he
out.
paints, he takes photography, he literally can create anything. He's
Wow.
amazing.
Sick.
So just also a big intention for me is to empower the people around me
Yeah.
as I empower myself.
Yeah.
Because I don't
It's
want to
like that,
win
for sure.
alone. That's
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've never been in what I do to feel like I'm above other people or like I'm better or like I deserve more attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a default part of the role that I'm playing, being a singer, that you do get more attention. But for me, I just feel like that attention is just energy that I can use and share with the people around me. Like, what do you do that's good? how can I amplify what you're doing?
Yeah.
And then we amplify each other, and then it just becomes this massive movement.
Yeah.
So that's kind
You're
of what I've
like
been
the
doing.
rising tide.
Yeah.
That's like lifting all the ships.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody follow on Instagram.
This
Where
is
do people find you?
Yeah, Instagram. I'm rebuilding my website right now. So,
Okay.
but everything is Irie Love.
Yeah. This is Irie Love.
I
What about
do-
Irie loves yoga. I'm just kidding.
Watch out. She's still there. She's still there.
She's still there.
She's teaching on Wednesday night.
Hey.
Okay. No, yeah, but yeah, this is Irie Love.
Awesome.
Easiest way to find me.
Okay. Thank you so much again for being here. Thank you for following along. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like and follow Irie on her journey. It's going to be a beautiful one.
So
It already
next
is.
song, April 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, stay tuned for the rest of the album.
Stoked.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Yes.
See you next time.
Aloha.